Finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off.
And the voters, they get it. They've read it, they get it. And it's already come out. Every single channel is calling it election interference. Ready?
It's not anti-feminist to say that in addition to doing everything men can do intellectually, women also have another power. The power of the ultimatum.
Trump is having a total meltdown, but it's not because of global warming. No, this time the cause is Bill Maher's latest comedy routine about Melania Trump. Apparently the former president can dish it out, but he sure can't take it. Before we dive in though, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy this content, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing, and it costs you nothing but makes a huge difference for us. Did you click the button? Great, thanks. Now, back to the show. So, Bill Maher's been at it again, folks. This time, Melania Trump found herself in the crosshairs of his sharp wit. And let's just say, he didn't hold back. Maher kicked things off by taking us on a nostalgic trip through Melania's modeling days. But he didn't stop there. Oh no. He compared her current life to a prison sentence. Talk about a career change, right?
Trump has been in the news a lot lately. I was talking about her in the monologue, and she's on the cover of Us Weekly with this cover, my side of the story.
It was 3 against 1. Trump got humiliated by Kamala, the moderators, and by himself, primarily.
And the voters, they get it. They've read it, they get it. And it's already come out. Every single channel is calling it election interference. Ready?
What if she had someone to do it with? Divorce is always easier in pairs. What if you had a buddy, Melania? You are not to ever again mention the bride catalog's return policy.
The crowd went wild when Maher dropped this little nugget. Apparently, Melania's favorite movie is The Great Escape. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that's not a movie you'd recommend if you want to maintain a happy marriage. Maher painted a hilarious picture of Melania plotting her escape from Trump Tower, complete with a tunnel she dug using a spoon she smuggled out of Mar-a-Lago's kitchen. But wait, there's more. Maher also shared an alleged fun fact about Melania. Apparently, she can hold her breath for 90 seconds. Most people would be impressed by that, but Maher turned it into another punchline, suggesting it might come in handy in the Trump household. I'll leave it to you to connect the dots there. As Maher's routine went on, the heat really turned up. He joked about Melania's apparent unhappiness in the White House, like living in a mansion with staff catering to every whim just isn't all it's cracked up to be.
And finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off.
If you're going under for surgery, the last thing you want to hear your doctor say is, "Don't worry, I'm mentally stable and, like, really smart."
You're married to the man who runs Fox News. You're married to the man who made Brexit happen.
He went on about crowd size and how Biden is to blame for his crowds not being big, and then his teleprompter went out.
You used to be married to Mick Jagger, and now you're married to a guy who looks like Keith Richards let himself go.
Then, in a moment of mock sincerity, Maher looked into the camera and said, "You know, your unhappiness is obvious. You despise his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand. Maybe it falls to you now, Melania. You can end this reign of terror." Now, I'm no relationship expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not advice you'd find in any marriage counseling book. To cap it all off, Maher decided to offer Melania a career change. Forget being a model or first lady. He suggested she's actually a natural-born escape artist. Picture it. Melania channeling her inner Taylor Swift, shaking off the Secret Service and making a grand getaway. The crowd couldn't decide if they should groan or burst out laughing. So, what did Trump think of all this? Well, let's just say he did not take it well. While the rest of us were laughing, Trump threw a temper tantrum that would make a toddler jealous. Picture him, probably sitting on his golden toilet, scrolling through his phone when he comes across Maher's jokes. You'd think a guy who's been the butt of jokes for years would have developed thicker skin by now, but nope. Instead of laughing it off, he head straight to his favorite outlet, Truth Social. And boy, does he throw a fit.
It's not anti-feminist to say that in addition to doing everything men can do intellectually, women also have another power. The power of the ultimatum.
When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris.
They rigged the election. The election was rigged. I didn't rig it. They did.
He's actually right about some of that. He didn't rig the election. He tried to rig the election.
Is there anyone left who can check Donald Trump? Yes, Melania.
He demands an apology from Maher. An apology. It's almost like he thinks comedians should run their material by him first. Here's a little news flash for Trump. Comedians don't apologize for jokes, especially not to thin-skinned politicians. But wait, Trump claims he's never even watched Maher's show. Yeah, right. If he's never seen it, how does he know what was said? Does he have a crystal ball? Or maybe a team of minions monitoring every comedy show? As if the tantrum wasn't enough, Trump pulled out his favorite move, the threat of legal action. Because nothing screams, I can take a joke, like threatening to sue a comedian, right? It's like he's trying to lawyer his way out of being the punchline. Spoiler alert, Donnie. It doesn't work that way. But Trump wasn't done yet. Oh no.
Maybe it falls to you now, Melania. You can end this reign of terror, and all you have to do is channel your inner Taylor Swift and walk out the door.
Being like really smart is not the same thing as being really smart, sir.
The man who got Trump elected and keeps his base ignorant. The man who killed Australia's carbon tax. I know he's rich, but is it worth Western civilization? But they left out my favorite feature in Us Weekly, which is the 25 things you don't know about me. Do you read about this?
And failed to rig the election. He's a rignoramus is what he is.
He stirred up his loyal supporters, getting them riled up over a comedy routine. Suddenly, his army of angry Oompa Loompas was out in full force, flooding social media with their outrage. Experts claim Maher's jokes really hit a nerve with Trump, exposing just how fragile his public image is. Turns out Maher found Trump's Achilles heel, and it's his entire personality. This whole debacle feels like deja vu. Remember when Trump lost it over SNL sketches, or couldn't handle a bit of roasting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? The pattern's the same. Comedian cracks a joke, Trump throws a fit, and the comedian gets more attention. It's like clockwork.
Your unhappiness is obvious. You despise his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand.
Still trying to convince the MAGAverse that he didn't blow it on Tuesday night against Kamala Harris, even though he is clearly terrified of facing her again.
Because there's another former model who's also married to a super-rich Republican monster, Mrs. Rupert Murdoch, Jerry Hall.
They rigged the election. I didn't rig the election. They rigged the election. What they do is they rig the election, and then they go around getting people and persecuting people and prosecuting people that did nothing wrong.
And let's face it, Trump just became Maher's biggest fan. Who would have thought that the king of You're Fired would end up being the best thing to happen to Maher's career? The best part? Trump's meltdown only drew more attention. Suddenly, media outlets, CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News, couldn't get enough of the story. They dissected Maher's jokes, played his clips on repeat, and had experts weigh in on the situation like it was some kind of high-stakes political drama. Meanwhile, Maher's ratings soared, and social media exploded with hashtags like #TrumpTantrumTime. Other late-night hosts jumped in on the fun. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Seth Meyers all piled on with their own Melania jokes. It became a full-on comedy arms race, with each host trying to outdo the others in roasting Trump.
Toss his boxy clown suits on the front lawn. Just tell him I'm leaving you and I'm taking our child. He would be stunned. We have a child?
He continued. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star, ...
Donald Trump concede. You'd think he would concede. He's the most conceited president we've ever had, but...
So far, over a dozen Republican candidates tried to stop Trump and couldn't. Hillary couldn't. Never.
But wait, what happened to this guy?
Anytime, anywhere, anyplace.
Somehow he went from anytime, anywhere, any place to there will be no third debate.
Of course, Trump's followers demanded a boycott of HBO. But good luck with that, folks. I'm sure HBO is quaking in their boots at the thought of losing viewers who probably couldn't figure out how to cancel their subscriptions anyway. And Maher? He doubled down. He didn't back down. Instead, he made even more Trump family jokes, roasting Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka. Nobody was safe. And the more Trump raged, the more fuel he added to the fire. As the dust settled, Maher found himself sitting pretty with some of the highest ratings he's seen in years. It turns out all he needed was a little help from his favorite punching bag.
And you two have a lot in common. Your husbands are ruining the world.
The voters and voter polls showed it, but the fake news media wasn't giving the credit that was due. Wow. Remember, I wasn't debating one person, I was debating three. They should fire everybody at ABC Fake News.
He really can't. He won't because he can. In fact, tonight, he emerged from wherever he's been hiding to take one more shot at choking democracy to death.
According to Rolling Stone, members of Trump's inner circle think another debate would be a bad idea. They say his performance was so disappointing, he doesn't know whether to call it Eric or Don Jr. at this point.
Getting men to change their destructive ways by threatening to leave them, humiliate them, or cut them off in bed.
Look, I'm a very stable genius. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's past my cheeseburger's bedtime. Let's go.
And just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, enter Laura Loomer. If you're scratching your head wondering who she is, don't worry, you're not alone. She's like that weird cousin at family reunions who everyone pretends to remember, but secretly Googles. Anyway, Maher tossed a joke her way about her special relationship with Trump. Loomer didn't get the memo about comedy exaggeration and went absolutely bananas. She demanded an apology from Maher, an invitation to appear on his show, and, wait for it, a $150 million lawsuit for a joke. Yep, you heard that right. $150 million for a joke.
And we got a hold of Melania's. It's not in this magazine, but it's coming out soon. Would you like to hear Melania's 25 things you didn't know about?
Dodging a debate makes him look like the coward that he is. And she challenged him to another one immediately. He wants no part of it.
The Melania's list. I don't know if you'd like to... But these are her rules.
I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius. ... Also, I think it's worth mentioning that people who are mentally stable generally don't announce it.
The teleprompter just went out.
President of the United States,
Naturally, social media exploded, and memes spread like wildfire. Hashtags like #LoomerLover and #TrumpTinderNightmare took over Twitter. It was a meme storm, and Trump was the one holding the matches. But here's the kicker. Instead of shutting Maher up, the lawsuit only gave him more material. He even thanked Loomer for the free publicity, joking that he hadn't had this much attention since he dared to suggest that maybe Trump's hair wasn't 100% real. Other comedians jumped on the bandwagon too. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, even Jimmy Fallon. It was a comedy feeding frenzy. And Maher, well, he just taught Trump a valuable lesson in the art of taking a joke. Who knew a comedian with a microphone could be more powerful than a guy with nuclear codes? That's the beauty of political satire. It's like kryptonite to big egos. So here's a tip for aspiring politicians. If you can't handle a few jokes, maybe you should stick to a career where people only laugh with you, not at you. Orange, you glad you're not Trump right now? See what I did there? I'll show myself out.